Hi Taurus, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol. This is going to be a general reading for you. There's no date on my reading. I trust that when it comes into your feed, it's meant for you. And so in today's reading, we're going to be using the Ehrenberg Tarot. And I'm also going to be clarifying with the Radiant Rider-Waite. And we're going to be doing a reading called Embrace Your Anger. I've had a number of new subscribers on my channel. And I also know that maybe some of you aren't aware of my background and why I actually started my tarot channel in the first place. So when I started my tarot channel, I always wanted my channel to be something that was healing and that would help my viewers go on their own personal journey, their own healing journey to get back to their authentic self. I myself have complex trauma, and I am a survivor of sexual abuse and trafficking in my own family. And through the last almost 8 years that I've been healing intensively, healing my own shadow, healing everything that I've repressed, all my memories from childhood, they're all repressed. And I've really come to find out how powerful anger is in our life, how powerful of an emotion it is if you can understand how it works in your own life. For me, anger has been an emotion that I have used in a very ungrounded way before my intensive therapy. I am a retired teacher of 30 years in Canada, and I also have 3 adult children that I've raised. And I used my anger quite a bit in both of those situations, but it wasn't a grounded anger. It was a very ungrounded anger. And I've come to learn that when you repress your anger, when you push it down, it spills out over, around people that are safe to you. And unfortunately, they're the ones that we hurt the most. And the reason why I suppressed my anger was because I was taught by my abusers in my life to not use my anger. And I was actually shown in a number of ways what would happen to me if I used my anger. And so I had this incredible fear around ever using my anger. And I was taught to put it away and to never, ever take it out. And so it was definitely an emotion that was repressed in me. It was very ungrounded. And after when you do rage and you have these explosions, you can't understand where it's coming from because you just know it's not you. And so I had to learn in my intensive therapy to use my anger again. It was not something I wanted to touch because I was absolutely petrified to use it because I know deep down what was going to happen to me if I tried to use it. And so as I worked through a lot of my memories, and I continue to work through my memories, I had to incorporate anger at the people that hurt me. And I did it through my journaling, and that's how I got to my anger, was through my journaling. And that's how I released my grounded anger so that my own anger is no longer in a place where I'm going to rage at people. I just know that because I've grounded my anger. And so this reading is really a reading for you to learn to start to recognize what pattern or situation is creating anger in your own life right now. And a lot of times we're not aware of it, but we just know that, there might be this anger brewing underneath. And sometimes we don't even think we have anger, and it continues to spill out on other people. And that will really definitely tell us that we have some ungrounded anger. I want to look at how your own ungrounded anger is manifesting in your life, in your daily life, how you're seeing it. And that'll be really important for me to bring awareness to that for you. And then I want to look at, what are you afraid of will happen if you express your anger? And finally, I'm going to look at how you can begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way. So I'm going to ask for some advice from the tarot, and then I'll give you a little bit of my own advice at the end. I might give you a playlist from my other channel, Carol Cares, where I've put out some information on anger. I have some excellent videos that I've put out, and so you can take a look at those to help you out. And so let's get started with your reading. I'm going to look at, first of all, what pattern or situation is creating anger in your life. So one card for that. And I seem to be facing the wrong way. That's okay. We'll just keep going. It'll come out. You have it showing up. That's all right. Turn it around when I... Yeah. Okay, we'll try this way. So one more card. One card, please. There we go. You have the World card. It was kind of sideways, so I'm going to put it that way. How does your repressed anger or your ungrounded anger manifest itself in your daily life? How is it showing up for you? It's kind of like what's a sign that you have some repressed anger. You have the Four of Swords. And what are you afraid will happen if you express your anger? That one came out quickly. You have the Page of Pentacles. And how can you begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way? There's one card that turned over. It's your Eight of Cups. And let's quickly get some clarifiers for those. These were pre-shuffled before I came on. So this World card, can I have 2 cards, please, for clarifiers? One more card. Came right here. Lovely. You have the Eight of Cups again in reverse. So it's over here and now it's here. Interesting. It's showing up twice. And then you have the Four of Cups. Four of Swords. A couple cards for that one. Caught that one. One more. One more clarifier. Okay, you have the Ten of Wands and the Page of Cups. So the Ten of Wands was in reverse. Page of Cups is sideways. Page of Pentacles. Oh, okay, and a lot there, but I'm just going to take these 2 over here. So you have the Chariot card in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. See if I put them all back in. Yeah. Eight of Cups. One more card. And then we can begin the reading. Taurus is waiting. There we go. You have the Knight of Swords and the Seven of Cups in reverse. Let's begin with what pattern situation is creating anger in your life right now. We have the World card here, and the World card sideways here. The World card can mean a lot of things, but I'm seeing here that you're wanting some sort of closure on something. And, you know, it's sideways here, so because it's sideways, it's like you don't know which way to go. Like it's not sure. So yeah. And I mean, explains where you're needing some sort of closure. I'm gonna get some clarifiers. I'm gonna look at the clarifiers. You have the Eight of Cups here, and the Eight of Cups is in reverse. And the Eight of Cups is in an upright position. It's it's about someone that's leaving these 8 cups behind, but it's not like cups are our emotions. So it's not about someone that's deciding not to feel. It's about someone that's deciding that they want to go off and do some shadow work. Almost like it's like the Dark Night of the Soul kind of card for me, where they're walking away because they're feeling like they need to do some work. They need to really do some healing. And it's in reverse here. So there's a real resistance here to doing this for some reason. I think this closure now tells me that you're looking at, you're finally deciding, you know what, I know that maybe you've been in therapy for a while. Maybe you've worked on your, you've done some work on yourself, and maybe you've left it for a while, you've come back to it, and it's like, you know what, it's time for me to get some closure in my life. Trying to figure out, maybe you're looking at in your past life and going, you're looking at the past, and maybe you have regrets or things that went on that you just, you wish you would have done differently sometimes. And it's just like, I want to finally get some closure in my life. And I can see here that there's a resistance to going towards this Dark Night of the Soul, going to even like there's some resistance to going towards maybe some anger. Maybe you realize that there's some things that have happened in the past, and you could have just kind of put them away for years and went, or maybe you're realizing, you know what, look what happened to me, and look what people have done to me. And it's time now that I want closure. It's time now that I want to express some of this anger. I need to get angry at these people. But I still think that you're very hesitant to do that. And this card tells me why. Because you're feeling here that here's this individual that it's the Four of Cups. And so this individual has 3 cups in front of them. And it's like they have tried in the past to express themselves, express their emotions, and they've learned that it didn't get them anywhere. And look at their sitting under this tree with their arms crossed. It's like, I'm done feeling. I'm done with trying to make things work. And then there's this gift from the universe that comes out, this offer. It's like an Ace of Cups. It comes out and it says, are you willing to go a little bit deeper? Are you willing to feel again? It's like, nope. And that's where that resistance to come. I think you know that there's a part of you that needs to get to some closure in your life. You know that there's some real heavy work that needs to be done. Some shadow work, Dark Night of the Soul, going through some real wondering, I'm feeling like there's something, but then you're like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And so this could be this, I don't want to go there. Could be some fear behind it. It's like, I don't want to touch this. Or, nope, been there, burn. You feel like, no, I've been there, I've been burned before, I'm not touching this. And so how does your repressed or your ungrounded anger manifest itself in your daily life? So you're sitting in a situation where it's like, I'm not touching this, I'm not going there for whatever reason. So you do have your repressed anger. And how is it coming out right now? Well, the four of Swords is coming in, and it's I think you're feeling quite exhausted, because the Four of Swords is coming in. It's saying, and it's upright. It's saying you need to get still. you need to take some rest. And it's interesting that it says, you know, you need to get still, because this Eight of Cups is about doing shadow work. And when we decide to do some healing and go on that journey of really committing to that, we need to get still. We need time to get still. So I think that you're either keeping yourself very, very busy, because sometimes we need to keep ourselves busy, because or even if we're trying to push all this anger down, it takes an incredible amount of energy to keep this anger repressed. And that's why we can feel so exhausted in our life. And when I hear people say that, it's like, well, what are you repressing when you say that? I'm so exhausted. I have tons of energy all the time at my age, because I have worked through a lot of my trauma. And so once you start working through a lot of your trauma from childhood and all your memories, and you know, you're not as exhausted anymore. And so, because there's a real cry here for you to get still, and you're tired, you're exhausted. And so you've been carrying around these burdens, you know. Let's clarify it. Like I said, it's hard. It's hard for you when you've been carrying around all these burdens, and I think you're wanting to offload them, because they're just so. I think you've been doing this for too long now, and then you got this little Page of Cups here, and they were sideways. I think what you don't realize, because this Page of Cups coming out here, and the Page of Cups is an inner child of ours. And so we have, like, there's 4 pages in my deck. So this is the one with the cup. This is the one that has these emotions. There's a part of you that needs to grieve. This little page comes up when it needs to heal. It needs to be heard. It needs to be listened to. I think you need some grieving. There's some closure here. And maybe this is because of something that's just happened, and it's brought up something, and you're needing some closure. And so there's this part of you that needs to grieve. And oftentimes we need to get angry first before we can grieve. But our ego self, if there's one emotion, it's a very petrified part, our ego self, and it blocks all of our emotions. It does not want us to feel. And if there's one emotion that is the scariest, if I had to pick one, it's grief. And we will often block our grief with our anger. And so, yeah, you've really blocked. And there's some anger that needs to come out that you're pushing down, because once you get at this anger is what I call a secondary emotion. Once you get at this anger, if you express yourself, if you journal from your anger and how angry you are at whatever's happened to you, you're going to find that there's some grief here that you have an inner child's been carrying for a long time that's related to this situation right here. And that's how we heal. That's how we heal our inner children. They need you as an adult to grieve for them, because they couldn't do it when they were younger. And so they hold these big emotions like fear, like anger, and like grieving, like grief. And so what are you afraid that will happen to you if you express this anger? What's going to happen to you? And remember, we've already talked about, without even looking at this, we've already talked about that, how your anger is, how you're blocking your anger, but behind that anger is grief from this inner child right here. And so what are you afraid? What's your ego afraid of? I don't say what your ego afraid of, but that's really what it is. It's what are you afraid that's going to happen? Because that's your ego self that's afraid. And you have this Page of Pentacles here. Here's another inner child. And this is the Page of Pentacles. It is the part of you when you were younger. It's another part that needs healing, because we can have more than one inner child. I've been on my own intensive healing journey to know that I have more than one inner child. and they all need healing. And this one's the one that knew. Around 4, 5, 6 years old, when you were younger, they were in their body. They're the ones that hold your self-worth. They knew who they were. They knew what it was like to be grounded. And so there's a part of you here that is very much afraid to become grounded again and to get back in your body and to start to feel some of these emotions. There's a real scared part that's sitting beside your ego, but you have your little inner children can be afraid as well. They can hold some of our fear. And so I think there's a fear here of you to get back into your body, because I think your ego is very much blocking you and making you stay up in your head. Our emotions don't live in our head. They live in our body, and we can't start feeling and getting in touch with our emotions, like our anger and our grief, until we ground into our body. And so I think you're afraid that, you have been controlling. This is a card about control here. It's interesting because this charioteer here, he's turning into cement. He's solid. He's not moving. He has been trying so hard to get these sphinxes to move all his life. I mean, a long, long time, because they've turned to stone. It's been so long. These sphinxes won't move. He's been trying to get them to move with his mind. He's been trying to control these sphinxes with his mind. You have been trying to control this situation for so long. You've been trying to keep this down. You've been up in your head trying to control this anger from coming up, extremely exhausted from it coming up, because you're trying to block the anger and try to block this grief. You are absolutely petrified. Or should I say your ego is absolutely petrified, because I'm talking to your ego right now, that you'll lose control. You absolutely petrified that this, if you express your anger, it's going to take over you and you're going to die. And I'm not saying that as I'm literally this is what your ego thinks. Your ego self thinks that if you touch this anger, you are going to die. Because that's a message that you got when you were younger, that you weren't allowed to touch your anger. In my case, I was going to die. I was told I was going to die, literally. And that's not an exaggeration. But our ego self will feel that it's going to take over. And we can die if we express that anger. And the Wheel of Fortune comes here. And the Wheel of Fortune in an upright position talks about the wheel of life, how it continues to turn. And it talks about changes of circumstances, but it's really up to us to bring about change in our life. And I did say that anger is an incredibly powerful emotion. It is the emotion that is going to bring about change in our life. Right now, it's stuck because you need to realize how much you have been controlling this with your mind. And you've been wanting so much to bring change into your life. You wanted something to change, I can tell. Like you're wanting some closure here. But you're stuck. And it is about time. It's up to you to start turning this wheel of life again. And it will, once you realize how much you've been controlling this and how much you need to get back in your body and feel this anger so that you can feel this grief. It's going to bring about change in your life. And how can you begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way? Where do you go? What do you do? How do you begin this? Well, here's your 8 of Cups again. This is what you started off with. There was a resistance on your part to taking this journey. Going off on your own, taking some time out on your own to start to feel these heavy, heavy emotions. You have that offer that's on the table here to feel again, to go deeper. And there's a real big resistance there. You want closure. You want change. And the universe is saying, well, here's the journey you need to take. Look at this individual taking the journey. There is no other person with them. They're taking it alone. And I had to take my own journey alone. I've gone no contact with my family of origin. Lost a lot of people on my journey. And I had to. I had so much trauma. And I'm seeing here that this is kind of a call, this Four of Swords. It's a call for you to get still. I don't know what it means for you in your life to take the journey alone. It might mean that you need to carve out time for yourself. It may mean, well, I'm seeing this Knight of Swords right here that's coming up. And this is the Knight of Swords. I'm going to go into this a bit just to get some more meaning. Because the Knight of Swords is that part of you. It's an adolescent part of you that does not want to be controlled anymore. That wants freedom. They have that sword in their hand. That's that authentic sword. Our adolescent part, I call it a freedom fighter. It wants to go towards our authentic self. You want to go towards who you are. You want closure in your life. You want change. You want freedom to go towards. I can feel this freedom. There's something that's pulling you towards change. And yeah, you want to go find out who you really are. That's the closure. You want to find out who you really are. I can feel this part. And then the Seven of Cups comes out. And I think what you need to realize, the Seven of Cups in an upright position is a card of this individual is looking at all these cups. Our cups are our emotions. But look what's coming out of them. They're not emotions that are coming out of them. They're these weird things. All these distractions that are coming coming out of this card. This is very much a card of distraction, dissociation, and it's in reverse, because I think the universe is saying here that, you know, in order for you to bring this big change in your life, you need to realize that you have been keeping yourself quite distracted, and that's why this call for you right here to get still, and that's why you're so exhausted. You have been quite dissociated, which means you're out of your body and you're in your head. You have been quite distracted, and the universe is saying it's really time now that you start to realize how you have been using your distractedness, your dissociation, to keep you from doing this journey that you need to go on right now. And so this is a general reading, so it's going to be up to you to realize, you know, what do I need to do? I journal from my anger. I'm going to leave you with a playlist on a bunch of videos, not a bunch, but a few videos on anger. One of them is going to be how to journal from your anger, because you need to start getting in touch with this anger. Because like I said, there's an inner child, two inner children actually, that need to be healed. They need to grieve. You need to grieve, and you're blocking it. Your ego self is blocking all of this. And I know you've been trying to control this for so long, but you're tired. And so I'll leave you with that playlist, and I'll also leave you with the last video I did on Conquer Your Fears. And I want you to have compassion for yourself, Taurus, for what you're working through. This is the most difficult journey of your life, to begin to heal yourself and get back to your authentic self and who you are. Bring change, grieve, feel your emotions. But it's the most important journey of your life. So I'll talk soon. Bye.